Hello, bonjour. Welcome to the Canadian Commercial Corporation's Annual Public Meeting for 2018-2019. My name is Douglas Harrison, and I am Chair of the Board of Directors of the Canadian Commercial Corporation. It's my pleasure to be with you, and I want to thank you for joining us today. With me today is Carl Marcotte, President and CEO of CCC. Annual public meetings give Crown corporations like CCC the opportunity to share information about the vital work we do and the value we deliver for Canada. We've decided again this year to present our meeting online to reach the greatest number of Canadians from all parts of our country. Our main objectives today are to review our accomplishments and present the results we achieved during the 2018-2019 fiscal year that ended March 31st, 2019. I was honored when the Minister appointed me to chair CCC's Board of Directors in 2018. This is my second annual public meeting for CCC. I am once again delighted to be here to share our results and important updates with you. As chair, I would like to begin by thanking the Honourable Mary Ng, Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion, and International Trade, for her ongoing support. CCC reports to Parliament through Minister Ng. She is and will continue to be an important partner and ally for our organization as we continue to deliver on our ambitious strategic plan to help even more Canadian companies, whether they are small, medium, or large, to grow their export business. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all of my board member colleagues for their leadership and guidance throughout the year. We are very fortunate to have a talented and committed board. I was grateful for the support of Andrew Saxton and Dwayne Lucas, both of whom completed their terms on the board in 2018-2019. At that time, I also welcomed Diane Carenza and Robert Kwan and was delighted that Claude Robillard, Nicole Verkind, and Martin Gagné were all reappointed. I know I can speak for all board members when I say that we were so pleased this past year to also announce 3 other new board member appointments: Maura Johnson, Krista Wessel, and Mike Johnson. As our minister noted at the time, these appointments underscore the government's ongoing work to strengthen accountability, increase responsible business conduct, and diversify and grow Canadian exporters. I could not agree more. All of the directors on CCC's board have invaluable experience and perspectives. I very much look forward to working with them as we continue our transformative initiatives with CCC to help grow Canada's trade and drive economic growth, innovation, and prosperity for our country. CCC's Board of Directors is composed of 3 committees: the Audit Committee, the Governance and Human Resources Committee, and the Operations Committee. We are responsible not only for the stewardship of the corporation, but also for providing oversight and strategic guidance to CCC's senior management team. We also ensure that the long-term strategic focus of the corporation is aligned with the broader government agenda. We have a robust corporate governance structure to maintain the confidence and trust of our stakeholders, including the exporters we serve, our employees, and our shareholder, the Government of Canada. The board remains highly confident in CCC and its continued ability to effectively and efficiently fulfill its mandate. I am proud of CCC's accomplishments to date and the successes that were achieved over the last reporting period. The organization is truly positioned to continue supporting all Canadian exporters, from small to large, across diverse industry sectors to help facilitate their sales to foreign governments. In fact, CCC's enhanced focus on helping SMEs has been increased in several ways, including the creation of a new and dedicated role to focus specifically on this growing area. We will remain the Government of Canada's key partner for other important priorities as well, such as managing 10 Canadian trade offices in China and supporting the government's critical sourcing requirements. In fact, CCC is instrumental in helping the Government of Canada in this regard. From disaster relief or urgent emergency response to supporting signature international events or even enabling Canadian experts to share their knowledge and expertise with other countries. CCC is ready and able to get the job done. Going forward, all of our work will remain clearly on delivering value to Canada by growing exports and creating jobs. During the year, CCC created a new strategy focused on supporting even more exporters and broadening its industry segments, along with a more wholesome focus on SMEs. We will do this with an enhanced focus on risk management. CCC's new contract risk management framework will help ensure early-stage risk management and mitigation. In this regard, I'm delighted to report that a highlight for CCC in 2018-2019 was the positive results from the Auditor General of Canada's special examination. This examination concluded that CCC's risk and operational practices were in good form, with no major deficiencies being found in the audit. In all, this demonstrated that the organization's efforts in enhancing risk management were well placed. Equally as important during the reporting period, CCC also strengthened its focus on responsible business conduct. We ensured that best practices were incorporated into the governance and oversight responsibilities within the board committees as well as by the full board of directors. More specifically, I was asked by our minister to undertake a thorough review of CCC's ongoing risk assessments and transaction due diligence to ensure that human rights, transparency, and responsible business conduct are core guiding principles for CCC. I'm very pleased and proud to say that CCC made great strides in these areas during the 2018-2019 fiscal year with the launch of its enhanced responsible business conduct framework. This includes a revised code of conduct and business ethics and a new human rights policy. Governance, environmental stewardship, and employee engagement represent the other very important pillars of the framework, and which will be an area of focus for the corporation over the next 5 years. Our work in this area is not only essential, but is also simply the right thing to do. It ensures that CCC's activities reflect Canada's international commitments, including those set out in the UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, as well as the OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises. These measures were also designed to ensure that CCC's transactions are consistent with the requirements of the Arms Trade Treaty. In essence, our commitment ensures that CCC plays the role it can in ensuring that CCC and the companies we work with operate in an environmentally, socially, and ethically responsible manner in Canada and abroad. And we are extremely proud of our significant accomplishments in ensuring these important considerations are core guiding principles for CCC. I greatly appreciate that CCC's efforts and hard work in this area were recognized by the government, and I recognize that our work is never completely done in this regard. I appreciate and understand that CCC and the exporters we work with must sustain this momentum and look to continually reassess and strengthen our corporate social responsibility frameworks as we move toward the future. I know I speak for all the board when I say we are excited by the potential to do even more for Canada through our new corporate strategy and the increased impact CCC will have for Canadian companies, particularly when it comes to continuing our valuable work to help SMEs. I want to congratulate and thank everyone who contributed to CCC's successful year in 2018-2019, including the important government and industry partners CCC works with to help exporters succeed and grow their businesses. I would also like to thank CCC's dedicated and hardworking employees and team members. It was through their commitment and dedication that the organization was able to achieve its objectives during the reporting period. And thank you again to my colleagues on the board of directors, as well as to the senior management team at CCC, for their support, their drive, and their tremendous diligence. As I conclude, and as many of you may know, the 2018-2019 fiscal year was the last full fiscal year under the direction of our former CEO, Martin Zablocki. I want to personally thank Marty very much for his significant contributions to CCC and for his work to ensure the organization was well placed for a successful leadership transition. In September 2019, Carl Marcotte was appointed interim president and CEO of the corporation. Prior to that appointment, he had been CCC's vice president of operations and head of the defense sector since July 2017. Carl joined the organization earlier that year to lead the development of a new strategic operating model for the corporation to grow and diversify the business and expand the number of Canadian exporters we served. On that note, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Carl Marcotte, our new president and CEO, who was appointed through an order in council in December 2019. I will now turn things over to him. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Doug, and hello, everyone. As Doug mentioned, my name is Carl Marcotte, and I'm the President and CEO of the Canadian Commercial Corporation. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to provide you with an overview of CCC. I will share our results and accomplishments for the 2018-19 fiscal year and present highlights of our strategy going forward. Je suis ravi d'être ici aujourd'hui pour partager nos résultats de l'année fiscale 2018-19 avec vous. As many of you know, CCC is the Government of Canada's international government-to-government contracting organization. Throughout our nearly 75-year history, we have been helping Canadian exporters do business in complex government procurement markets that might otherwise be beyond their reach. In fact, our vision is to remain a vital player that works as a trusted partner in supporting Canada's progressive and inclusive trade agenda, and that enables our exporting customers to do business in increasingly challenging global markets. We achieve our mandate through excellence in risk assessment, mitigation, and project management, and we measure our success by the economic value we facilitate. To provide some background, CCC is a crown corporation of the Government of Canada, and we facilitate and promote international trade between Canada and other countries. We were established in 1946, and as Doug mentioned, we report to the Parliament through the Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion and International Trade, the Honourable Mary Ng. CCC is an essential part of the government's progressive trade and investment agenda that is focused on diversifying Canada's trade. Trade diversification is about helping secure more opportunities for Canadian exporters and investors so that they can compete and succeed in thriving and fast-growing international markets and sectors. And that's exactly what CCC does. We help Canadian exporters succeed around the world. And this is critical for Canada because our country depends on trade. When we increase exports, we drive economic growth, and this helps create jobs for Canadians. Nous travaillons en étroite collaboration avec nos partenaires gouvernementaux, tels que le Service des délégués commerciaux du Canada, Exportation et Développement Canada, Technologie du développement durable Canada et Innovation, Sciences et Développement économique Canada. Nous travaillons également directement avec les ambassadeurs du Canada, les hauts commissaires et les attachés de défense des forces canadiennes à l'étranger. Nous travaillons fort pour accroître notre profil et nos partenariats avec les chefs du gouvernement et de l'industrie et d'autres parties prenantes qui font la promotion des capacités et de l'expertise canadienne sur les marchés mondiaux. Cela signifie que nous pouvons étendre notre portée pour aider encore plus d'entreprises canadiennes. The work we do is instrumental in delivering results for Canada. A principal goal of the Government of Canada is ensuring that Canadian businesses have the support they need to succeed in our highly competitive global marketplace. CCC's government-to-government contracting model allows us to help Canadian exporters significantly reduce risk and access new export opportunities throughout the world. Our business model is unique in that we're able to sign contracts with other governments on behalf of the Government of Canada. This means that we can provide a government buyer with a guarantee from the Government of Canada that the terms and conditions of the contract signed with CCC will be met. This significantly reduces risks for government buyers and encourages them to meet their procurement needs by working with Canadian businesses. Our guarantee carries the weight and credibility of Canada's brand, of Canada's values, that are recognized and appreciated around the world. And further, CCC's approach to responsible business conduct, which Doug outlined previously, means that we operate in an environmentally, socially, and ethically responsible manner consistent with Canada's international commitments always. As Doug noted, 2018-19 was a very successful year for CCC. I'm pleased to share with you the successes we achieved with an overview of our performance highlights and financials. In 2018-19, we signed new export contracts valued at $1.3 billion, all while continuing to strengthen and streamline our contracting procedures. Over the course of the year, we delivered $3.4 billion in goods and services abroad, an increase of approximately $1.1 billion over the previous fiscal year. Our focus on diversification has also led to new business opportunities for Canadian exporters across a wider range of industry sectors than in past years. These are tremendous accomplishments for an organization like CCC, and they speak to the value we deliver for Canada. More specifically, to achieve these results during the 2018-19 fiscal period, CCC worked directly with 162 Canadian exporters, 34% of which were SMEs, or small and medium-sized enterprises. I'm proud of the fact that the government recognized CCC's efforts to increase the number of transactions with SMEs during the fiscal year, as well as our work to develop strategies to make our services even more accessible to all Canadian companies. Il est important de mentionner que nous travaillons directement avec les PME pour les aider à accroître leurs activités et de nombreuses autres PME bénéficient grandement de nos importants contrats internationaux grâce à la sous-traitance et aux chaînes d'approvisionnement. En fait, nos données montrent que ces contrats ont des répercussions en aval et représentent une valeur importante pour plus de 1400 PME au Canada, qui sont des fournisseurs indirects de nos clients exportateurs canadiens. And when we talk about the impact of the contracts CCC signed during the reporting period, we supported more than 14,000 value-added jobs for Canadians, many of which were in fields related to advanced manufacturing, engineering, innovation, or technology. Overall, CCC recorded net earnings of $4.1 million, and I'm very pleased with our results as this is an increase of $11.6 million from the previous year. These results were due to a combination of higher revenues and lower expenses when compared to the prior year. As in previous fiscal year, CCC did not incur any contract remediation expenses in 2018-19. It's important to mention this fact because it provides a clear indication of how effective and robust the corporation's contract management and enterprise risk management practices truly are. Once again this year, we could not have achieved this level of success without our team at CCC. I'm always so impressed by their commitment and dedication. They are essential to CCC's success. We continue to invest in our people and the processes and systems that they need. During the 2018-19 fiscal year, we embarked on significant continuous improvement initiatives, including bringing in new skill sets, training programs, reducing processing times, and eliminating redundant activities that help to improve the services that we provide to Canadian companies. Through these initiatives and the efficiencies they generated, we continue to invest in and grow the work we do for small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs. I'm proud of the commitment to excellence that our employees show in their day-to-day interactions with exporters, international buyers, and with stakeholders, and I cannot thank them enough for their hard work during this reporting period. Now that I've provided an overview of CCC and our performance results for the reporting period, I'd like to share a few more detailed examples that help illustrate the important work we did for Canadian companies in 2018-2019. Par exemple, grâce au programme de passation de contrat de la CCC avec Cuba, nous avons cerné le besoin d'un fournisseur fiable de peinture spécialisée pouvant résister à la chaleur, au soleil et à l'eau salée à Cuba. La CCC a travaillé avec Peinture Mica pour aider à répondre à cette demande et à obtenir pour ce fabricant du Québec le premier contrat d'exportation à Cuba, évalué à plus de 2 millions de dollars. C'était un débouché important pour Mica, une PME familiale. Nous explorons actuellement d'autres possibilités afin d'aider l'entreprise à se diversifier, à accéder à de nouveaux débouchés et d'accroître ses activités dans la région. Another example highlights our work in facilitating large-scale government infrastructure projects, particularly for countries that may not have easy access to the skills and expertise they need. While CCC has been active in the infrastructure sector for several years, we grew this area of our business in 2018-19 and helped mitigate risk on a number of complex projects. CCC's contract to redevelop Bermuda's L.F. Wade International Airport is the second major infrastructure project that CCC has worked on with the Aecon Group from Toronto, following the successful project to build Quito's International Airport in Ecuador. In 2018-19, the Bermuda Airport project reached several important milestones, including the local tradition of a roof wedding ceremony, and we expect final completion of this project in 2020. Aecon noted that this work would not have been possible without CCC support. For Bermuda, having world-class terminals and associated infrastructure will contribute significantly to the country's important trade and tourism priorities. And a final and more recent example shows how we help Canadian exporters address emergency requirements. CCC recently worked with Colson Air Crane Limited to supply a crew and 3 helicopters to assist the government of Bolivia with its firefighting efforts in Chiquitania, a region of tropical savannas close to the Bolivian Amazon rainforest. BC-based Colson is a global aviation company and world leader in aerial firefighting. Our unique government-to-government contract, which we were able to negotiate and finalize in less than a week, enabled Colson to mitigate its business risks, respond to this urgent environmental and humanitarian need, and build on the country's existing business relationship with Bolivia. Colson was instrumental in helping Bolivia with its significant efforts to safeguard citizens and protect important ecosystems. And I also want to highlight the important work we do through the Defense Production Sharing Agreement, also known as the DPSA. This treaty has been in effect between Canada and the U.S. for nearly 65 years. It supports the Government of Canada's commitment to maintaining a constructive bilateral trade relationship with the United States. Under this agreement, Canadian companies are allowed to compete for prime and subcontracts on a level playing field with U.S. companies. As a custodian of the DPSA, CCC fulfills this essential public policy role on behalf of the Government of Canada. Under the DPSA in 2018-19, we signed contracts worth $816 million, helping drive growth for Canadian companies and our nation's economy. Enabling access to the U.S. defense market through the DPSA represents significant value for Canadian exporters, particularly SMEs. In fact, during the reporting period, 30% of the companies who exported under the agreement were small and medium-sized enterprises. The diversity of Canadian companies we've helped under this agreement is really quite incredible, as it is the range of products they sell. This can be everything from military equipment to supplies for troops at home or in the field, as well as medical devices. A great example of the latter is Thornhill Medical. Thornhill Medical is a science-based Canadian medical technology company leading the charge in mobile medical devices for the military and first responders all around the world. Their mobile ICU and portable anesthesia device are both designed specifically for military and disaster relief scenarios. Compact, rugged, and battery-operated, both are designed to function in challenging conditions, including helicopters and field hospitals. With CCC's knowledge and experience in navigating the complexities of U.S. acquisition requirements, Thornhill Medical is now successfully partnered with the U.S. military for casualty care during transport, both ground and air, as well as in field hospitals and forward surgical suites. We want to build on our working relationships with these exporters even more. We can help them leverage their export experience to the U.S., to expand into new markets, to scale up, and to help diversify Canada's trade. The CCC's plan is to remain keenly focused on growing our business to help even more Canadian companies export their products and services through sales to governments around the world. Building on our fundamental work last year to diversify into new sectors, CCC will continue to broaden both the number of sectors that the corporation operates in and the number of Canadian companies we work with. We will continue to focus, in particular, on developing new programming and products that are specific to small business. Our goal is to enhance CCC's relevance and impact for Canadian exporters and to ensure we remain responsive to their evolving needs in the highly competitive global trade environment. Our plan is based on a number of key priorities. We will remain focused in our efforts to continue growing the number of SME customers served. We are developing and promoting new products and services tailored to their needs. We know that SMEs constitute 99% of all business in Canada, yet less than 12% of them export. CCC will continue to assist SMEs to scale up through trade in order to maximize Canada's economic growth and expand the middle class. We will continue to build on past successes and grow the number of customers CCC supports through sector diversification. CCC is committed to help more Canadian exporters from more sectors secure a wider variety of international procurement contracts and to take advantage of opportunities in markets made more accessible by Canada's new free trade agreements. La poursuite de nos efforts pour renforcer et créer des partenariats ainsi qu'un profil avec le gouvernement et l'industrie afin d'étendre la portée de la CCC constitue une haute priorité. Nous voulons notamment collaborer plus étroitement avec nos partenaires actuels, en particulier le Service des délégués commerciaux, Exportation et Développement Canada, Technologie du développement durable Canada. Nous voulons aussi étendre les relations avec les institutions financières afin d'ouvrir davantage d'options de financement pour les transactions et servir encore plus de clients. Nous efforçons également de rencontrer la stratégie de nos efforts de marketing et communication afin d'accroître notre visibilité. Afin d'attendre et d'offrir l'excellence opérationnelle dans cette ère numérique, la CCC veillera à ce que ses processus et outils organisationnels tirent parti de l'utilisation des technologies numériques. Nous travaillons, par exemple, à la numérisation des processus de gestion des contrats, à l'optimisation de gestion des données afin d'améliorer l'expérience client intégrée de bout en bout. Ces procédures permettront non seulement d'améliorer l'efficacité, mais également de réduire le risque opérationnel. Pour nous, il s'agit de priorités principales. And finally, perhaps most importantly, to continue helping Canadian exporters succeed, we will invest in our people even more and undertake initiatives to drive greater employee engagement. We will develop learning plans to fill any gaps in our skills and capabilities and ensure we are fully aligned and responsive to the needs of Canadian exporters. At this time, our ambitious plans are at different stages of development and implementation. However, with the continued guidance and strategic direction of our board, as well as Minister Ng, I'm confident that our plans will be successful. The corporate strategy I've just outlined will ensure that CCC continues to do even more for Canadian exporters as we approach our 75th anniversary in 2021. With this in mind, CCC is currently completing a comprehensive review of its mandate and operations. This is a common practice in government and occurs periodically to ensure federal crown corporations, such as CCC, consistently deliver value to Canada. We welcome the review and the significant opportunity it represents to help improve our current practices and guide our future direction. Our goal, ultimately, is to become even more relevant to Canadian exporters by helping them expand their business through sales to governments around the world, while remaining highly efficient in the delivery of our international contracting services. In closing, I'm excited by the opportunities CCC has before it. I want to again thank our employees, as well as our board of directors, for all of their work during the reporting period. It is through your hard work and the focused collaboration with our partners that we've been able to again achieve our objectives and help bring more of Canada's innovative products and services to the world by enabling Canadian exporters. Nous avons déjà constaté les bienfaits de nos efforts de diversification. Et comme nous nous concentrons de plus en plus sur les PME, je suis persuadé que la CCC sera en mesure de soutenir encore davantage d'exportateurs canadiens. Doug, thank you very much for your leadership of the board and for the strategic guidance you have provided to me and to all of the senior executive team at CCC. This now concludes the Canadian Commercial Corporation's Annual Public Meeting. On behalf of everyone at CCC and on behalf of our board, thank you for joining us. I encourage you to learn more about CCC by visiting our website and reading our annual report. I also invite you to submit any questions you have about today's presentations or at any other time during the year. Simply email them to communications@ccc.ca. Je vous remercie de votre participation aujourd'hui. Comme toujours, je vous invite à faire parvenir vos commentaires ou questions n'importe quand par courriel à communication@ccc.ca. We appreciate your interest in CCC and in the important work we do to help Canadian exporters. Thank you, Doug, and thank you again to everyone online for joining us today. Merci de vous joindre à nous aujourd'hui.